One of the main topics that maybe is not addressed in the literature out there is the traits that define a successful slash awesome founders, meaning that the person that investors look for, when they say, yeah, we invest in great entrepreneurs, ambitious, blah, 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 this kind of lingo, etc., like, for the PR. Okay, what does that mean? Today, we're going to try to break it down. So as you can imagine, when your company is very early stage, then there's a lot of trust that needs to go in you and in your business from the investors. And that trust is a lot about you and your team, right? And when I say you and your team, I mean the you and your co-founders, the management team, if you want, like the people who are driving the idea forward, who are going to be responsible for the execution. So I always say, if you are Elon Musk, as as Elon Musk is today, you can even raise capital with a back on the envelope kind of plan, right? Because you are Elon Musk, you have that kind of credibility in the market, at least that's what the media is telling us. So, not everybody's Elon Musk, right? But there are some traits that define what a great founder is or is perceived by investors, and we wanna I wanna make sure to highlight that and help you to get the best out of yourself, right? Remember that this is also one of the aspects that can influence your valuation. So again, Elon Musk is probably going to be able to raise a lot of capital at a very high valuation, even with a back on the envelope kind of plan. So let's start. So first thing, goes without saying, what it takes is ambition and passion. And by ambition, I mean your plan, your goals should be hairy, wild, big. You need to make people dream. You need to be a dreamer first of all yourself, and then you need to make people dream. And by dreaming, I don't mean believing in in elves or other kind of strange creatures, but rather believing in you can create like a huge and widely successful company, right? So you need to sell the story. You need to put on your best smile. You need to go in and show how passionate you are about the problem you're solving and how big the plan you have and how big you see the company in the future. I cannot tell you how to sell your company. This is your job, and that's the job that every entrepreneur needs to learn even before writing down a pitch deck. And that's why I say, when you have an idea, test it out. Talk about that with your friends, with your family, and get questions. Like gain some level of trust in yourself and confidence in being able to express yourself, right? Which is one also of the aspects that we're gonna discuss about in the rest of the list, in the rest of the video. So get ready, because building a startup is very hard. It takes many years. So you need to have that kind of passion, at least at the beginning. I would say at least, but most likely throughout the years, if you want to have higher chances to get through those years, because you're gonna go through ups and downs. So investors look for people who are passionate and driven and are gonna be able to hustle. It's gonna be hard. Also, if you're passionate, then you're gonna be able to communicate a feeling of mission, and as a consequence, a feeling of urgency of the opportunity ahead of you, that is gonna make sure that you're gonna be able to close the round. And as we saw in the previous videos, it's going to give the impression to investors that they're going to miss out. So you want to trigger the FOMO, the fear of missing out. So passionate and ambition on their own are not enough, to build a company, to go through the ups and downs, the hardship of a company. So what you need to have also on top of that is resilience and leadership, right? So these two aspects are quite correlated to each other, and I'm going to tell you why. So leadership is the capacity of catalyzing, people's attention and also people's incentives to work with you on the achievement of a certain goal, which is also attracting the right investors, or investors, period. If they see that you are the kind of leader they would follow, they are totally caught by your vision, by your feeling of mission, then they know that other people will also be caught up and they will also follow you in that mission. Being employees, being advisors, being customers, you need to have that kind of leadership if you want to make sure to be successful and, as a consequence, to raise capital. So let me give you an example of what that implies. Let's say that you're having a meeting with investors, and the meeting, is supposed to be a pitch presentation. You have like your set of slides, you're prepared, whatever. You start to go through and you start to get questions, because that's what investors do, right? They want to, let's say, look behind every stone in your business, and they're going to make questions, whatever pops up in their mind. They're not going to shut up. They're not going to let you talk. It's their job, right? Don't take it personal. But you should be able to steer the conversation into your direction. If they interrupt you in the middle of the pitch, or even in the first 5 slides of the pitch with a question that it's in slide, 10 or 15, so later on in your flow, your natural instinct would be to reply to the question right away, to address it. But truth is, you're showing lack of leadership, because you're letting the people just steer you whatever they want without taking control of the situation. So this is a very silly example, but as a matter of fact, it is a very strong signal to the investors that you don't have the even the control and the confidence to lead a company, because you're going to be steered in all direction by whoever people approach you, right? So that's the first example. And as I said before, this is quite correlated to resilience. Why? Because you're going to have a lot of opportunities, a lot of ideas, etc. But people who make it are people who are focused and resilient in their idea. If you ask any successful founder out there, what is the secret to success? They will say, I didn't quit. That's why I made it. Because sometimes it's so hard, but I persevered. Resilience. And resilience also means being able to go to investors and pursue your initial plan of following your path and your flow of the presentation. Resilience. The other aspect or the implication of resilience is that it's just a statistical law that you're going to get rejected a lot by angels, by customers, by VCs, whoever. They're going to say no. Think about how many times you're saying no, and actually, if you don't say no enough, then reconsider that, because another secret to success is that you have to say no many, many times, because you can only have one focus. So anyway, people are gonna say no. Maybe you're not on top of their minds. It's maybe not for them. It's nothing personal. It's not like maybe they don't like you. It's just it's not meant to be. It's just business. But the resilience is taking the no, working hard, going back to the same investors and show them your progress. Investors like that. This is also developing the trust in you that, maybe they never heard of you, they never heard about you or your company, that's fair enough, so they don't trust you, they don't feel confident, fair enough. But if you prove to them months over months, even years over years, that you are persevering on your idea, that you are executing, and you're getting results, you're gonna gain their trust and their respect. And then that may lead to an investment. The final thing I want to say about leadership is that it's also very important that leadership is not only a feature of one person in the team, but it's rather a feature of the team. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna give you an example. So if you're going to a meeting with investors, one of the first meetings with one or more persons, let's say with your co-founders, and one person, say the CEO, is doing all the talking, and the other two, or the other guy, girl, looks too passive, then that shows a weakness in your team, because it seems like you're not really complementary, you're not really cross-functional. So there should be like a balance also of the leadership in the team, especially in the first meetings when you get to know each other with investors. So if you don't think your co-founders have that kind of capacity to present in front of investors, to be to take their questions and to come up on top, then wait to introduce them to the investors. They can be great people, but when you're presenting the company, so in the pitch situation, try to bring only the best people, or just go on your own. Another trait that's very, very important, and it's about clarity or eloquence, right? So if you have been a salesman, you know that you have limited time and you need to explain whatever you're saying very clearly. And raising capital makes no exception. So if if you're not able to express clearly and in a simple way, understandable way, the concept that say the business proposition you're offering to investors, then they may feel like they don't get you, and they may feel like they're stupid, and nobody likes to feel stupid, right? So watch out for recurring questions around this, things that you think you explain again, because it means that you are, you're losing them and you're losing the deal. So the key here for founders is taking the complexity that you guys have in your head and expressing that in a very simple way, even in layers, right? So that's why the concept of the elevator pitch came up, etc., etc. That's a very good exercise for you, right? As much as you can be doing like space shuttles, there must be a simple way to express that. And one way to test it is trying that out, explaining what your company does to people who don't know anything about your field. And try with your grandma. If you're able to explain that to your grandma, most likely you have the right way to explain that to anybody else, right? So it also takes some kind of empathy, because you should be able to adjust your language to the person in front of you, right? With some investors, they simply get it. They've been in your same field, whatever. So speed up the concept. Don't like look like a retard going slow. But in our situation, slow down. When you see that people are not getting you, take a step back and explain things in a simpler way, maybe not with non-technical terms. So just keep in mind that the way you talk is very important. Another key aspect is the team, right? So, and by team I mean one person is not enough to build a great company. It takes a team of exceptional people to build an exceptional company. So there are different theories on the right blend of founders, but the truth is you should know each other for possibly a few years if you want to have higher chances of raising capital. And the reason is quite simple. If you just got to know each other, nobody's going to give you the trust that you're going to be able to bring the company over the next 8 to 10 years through the hardship and everything, because you don't have that chemistry between you to go through that hardship. Chances are you will not make it. So ideally, best companies are started by former colleagues, friends, partners, you name it, but people who have known each other for a relatively long time. Usually it's 5 years, let's say the kind of optimal. And if you just got to know each other, then I would really wait before approaching investors, because chances are very low. Another aspect that goes without saying in terms of what it takes to raise capital is likability, which means your moral, your ethics, and your decency. So an investor will pass whenever they have doubts about that. If you lie, you cheat, you treat people with disrespect, nobody would like to work with you. So this is quite clear in this situation as well as in any other situation in the life out there, right? Final remark on what it takes to raise capital is just be human, right? So if you are putting on a mask, just to look exceptional, but you're lying to yourself, then sooner or later it's gonna come out, and it's not gonna be pleasant for yourself, and it's not gonna be pleasant for your investors, right? So it's okay to learn how to get the best out of yourself, how to be a great founder, because I think a lot of people who have the initiative and the guts to start a company are, first of all, great people, right? So just learn the tricks of the game on what it takes to show the best qualities you have, and find your own formula. There is no one formula fit all, and putting on a mask won't last for long. Maybe we'll get you for the first round, but in the end of the day, you need to be human. People will like that. So this is all. I think this is like also based on my experience and what I came across, and all the founders and investors that I came across. In some cases, you simply don't like each other. That's the way it is. There's not a big deal about that. I've seen founders that great founders not finding investors. I've seen mediocre founders with just a very very lucky shot that raise capital from whoever. So sometimes it may not be enough, but if you're a great person, you're gonna be successful as an entrepreneur, and that's the truth. Period. And success is not only defined in the way you raise capital, but it's defined in having people who believe in what you're doing and are helping you to achieve your vision. So if you are a great person, things will come by itself, and don't stress out. Hope this helps you, and I'll see you in the next video.